So I'm currently in my backyard, as you can tell. I wanted to talk about things like if you know someone that has a panic disorder, panic attack, or maybe you you saw someone having a panic attack. Let's say it could be a classmate you don't really know, a coworker you don't really know or talk to, or maybe a complete stranger or a neighbor just walking in has a panic attack, and um, or whatever it is, and you want to help that person, but you don't know what to say. This video is more towards people that doesn't understand what panic attacks are, how they feel. For me personally, I had panic attacks for almost 2 years now. When I first experienced them, to be honest, I didn't know what panic attacks were at the time. I didn't even know what anxiety was. So to me, it was hard to explain to my own family, because if I don't understand what they are, why it happens, how am I going to explain it to my family? They wanted to help me, so I didn't see them saying things like, "Oh, how come you got scared of leaving the house? How come you know you can't get off your bed at times? How come you're scared to take a shower at times? How come you're afraid to be in home alone at times?" They were asking me those kind of questions, which I at first I saw it as like, what is wrong with you? Or are you being lazy? Or things like that. But I realized they just want to understand. So if you have family members that ask you questions like that, don't take them the wrong way. Because when you take them the wrong way, it could lead to you feeling more depressed. Because they just want to understand what's going on with you. Like, why have you changed from a person that could leave the house and do things to a person that start having all these fears? Like I say, I didn't know what anxiety, I didn't know what panic attacks were, till I look it up online. I think most of us that has a panic attack, we look up our symptoms, and when you Google the symptoms, a lot of time it says things like chest pain, what else, racing heart, things like that. I might say heart attack, headaches, migraine, head pressure. It could say brain tumor, stroke, things like that. Um, so we don't understand, so it's kind of hard to explain it to people that doesn't have anxiety. So why? So if you're one of those person that wants to help someone that has a panic disorder, or you want to know what you can do to help someone, just in case you run into someone that has a panic attack. First thing you want to do is look at them, but don't give them any crazy looks. Like, don't look at them like you're worried. Or don't give them any mean looks. Just don't. If you walk by them, don't keep turning back and like walk away and then look back, look away, look back. A lot of people, including myself, when we see a car accident or whatever, um, we have that habit of wanting to look back, like we want to stare. It's like it's in our subconscious mind that we want to look, like what's going on. Which sometimes there's really nothing wrong with just looking once, but when you're driving away from the accident and you keep looking back, that could be a bad thing. Not only could you cause an accident because you're not looking where you're going. I mean, if you're a passenger, you're not the one driving. It's different. But if you're the one driving and you keep turning back and looking, that's one thing. You can also make a person with panic disorder extremely uncomfortable if you keep looking at them. Especially someone that suffers from social anxiety. Social anxiety is a person has that could have a panic attack when they're talking in front of a large group of people, or they can be even talking in front of like just in front of 5 people. Or they can be outside walking around the mall, store, or being in the bus stop. If someone gives them one dirty look, they can have a panic attack. So you never want to look at someone with a panic disorder. Um, you don't want to stare away at them. If you look, just look at them real quick. If you have the habit of looking at people, but don't give them a mean look. Don't stare at them funny. Don't just smile and just say hi, and that's it. And then if they say hi back, um, and you notice them acting strange, just say, is is everything okay? If they say, I'm having a panic attack, and you don't know what it is, just say, if you have a smartphone, look it up. And then once you look it up, then you can say, well, I don't know what panic attacks are. I don't experience them. I don't know anyone that experienced them, anything like that. But um, I just look it up, and I can sit here with you if you need. If there's anything I can do, or if there's to help you, let me know. If I'm making you uncomfortable by sitting here, let me know. You want to help them because they're the one that having a panic attack. So if they say, yeah, just sit here, but don't ask me any questions, that will help me a lot. Then just sit down next to them, and that's all you have to do. You want them to feel better, so you have to find out what you can do to help them. Never say to anyone that has a panic disorder, calm down, to relax, you're fine. Because if we're having a panic attack, we know we're fine. We know we want to calm down, but we don't know why we're freaking out. We don't know why we think we're dying for no reason. We don't know what triggered our panic attack. A lot of times, for me personally, my panic attacks comes out for no reason. I can be outside, like in my backyard. Like today is a nice warm day. You know, um, and I could be freaking out for no reason. It's like my mind detects danger and I react to it. It's like my mind saw. It's like me seeing some kind of danger coming after me, but deep inside I know I'm not in any type of danger. So to tell someone that has a panic disorder to calm down, it's not really going to help. It actually might make that person more panicky. If we could just calm down whenever someone tells us to during a panic attack, we wouldn't have a panic disorder. Um, and if it works, every time someone tells us to calm down, we can calm down right away during a panic attack. For me personally, I would go randomly tell someone to tell me to calm down when I'm having a panic attack. If that would calm me down right away. So you don't want to say calm down. You don't want to say, it's like telling someone with a depression, why are you so lazy? That person with depression doesn't know why they having a hard time getting out the bed. Sometimes their mind is not motivated enough to get off the bed to do the simplest tasks, like get up to brush their teeth. Sometimes when I was dealing with depression, when I had to get up to brush my teeth, I was dragging. I was like, what's the point of me brushing my teeth? I'm not going to leave my house. Things like that. So don't want to say anything to a depressed person to say you're lazy. Just say things like, if you see that person that's depressed watching TV, just go up to that person, watch TV, say, oh, can I watch TV with you? I like this show. If they say sure, you can say things like, oh, what's your favorite episode of this TV show? Talk to them like things like that. It's like you showing them interest, that you want to be with them, be there with them. You showing interest in like what they like. So yeah, the best thing to do to help someone with depression is, you know, be there for that person. You don't want to make it worse by saying you're just being lazy. How hard is it for you to get off your bed? How hard is it for you to, go to school? How hard is it for you to go to work? How hard is it for you to do the simplest thing like brush your teeth, take a shower, get off your bed? You want them to feed off your positivity. So let's say if you're watching TV with them, and you're watching a show that you like, and they're watching the same show you like, a movie or whatever, talk about it, say things like I mentioned earlier, or what's your favorite episode, who's your favorite star of the show, things like that. And you connect with that person, and while you connecting to them and you show, like, you laugh and you're having fun with them, they're gonna start, their mind is gonna go from depressed to positive. They're gonna say, oh, I feel this happiness I never felt before. And based off the happiness, and once they base off the happiness, the brain is gonna start reprogramming itself. The brain is gonna say, oh, I like this feeling. It's like when you're depressed, you for so long, and that's all you know, then you're just gonna always feel depressed. And once you feel depressed, that's all your brain is like. That's all your brain knows. And so once you help the person that's depressed, and a person could feel would want to have the happiness, would want to feel more happy about things, So because a lot of times, someone that's depressed, most likely they can be surrounded by negativity. It could be negativity from family, friends, co-workers, classmates, things like that. So if you can be that person's um, if you can be that person that's having depression friend, the only person that's positive towards that person, trust me, that person is going to want to be with you. And when that person feeling down, that person can think about you, can be talking to you, and that depressed part of the brain could actually feel better being around you. So you always have to be the opposite of what that person is. If I ran into someone that's depressed now, I'm gonna let them know that I know what it feels like to be depressed, and then I'm gonna show them, help them get away from that depression. Because we're either surrounded by people that are positive, or we're surrounded by people that are depressed. For me, sometimes someone try to motivate you, but sometimes when you have a depressed mind, you're gonna always think for the worst case scenario. It's like someone says, come on, let's go for a walk. You're gonna automatically think, as a person that's depressed or a person that's housebound or both, you're gonna automatically think, oh, this person is just trying to bully me to doing things I don't want to do. But in fact, that person wants you to do the things you think you can't do. That person wants you to know that you can do it. You just have to, like, you just have to change your mindset. When I started having depression, people will say, think positive. I'll always say, that's BS. How can I think positive if I'm having negative thoughts? And then I realized that once I changed my thinking habits, that depression went away. I was never depressed before. Even when I grew up, when I went in middle school, I found out I have learning disability. When I had learning disability, I didn't finish school, but yet I never felt depressed. I went against my depression. I went against my learning disability, that I might have learning disability, but I might not have a high school diploma. I might not even finish high school, but I'm gonna show up to work and show people that just because I don't have a diploma, that doesn't mean I won't work hard for a company. So you have to change your mindset. Be around people that that won't feed negatively thoughts to you. And to help someone that's housebound, you know, you never want to say things like, where do you think you're going? You're housebound, especially if that person hasn't left the house for a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, even a couple of years. If that person decides to want to try leaving the house after a X amount of time, once you see that person going out, just say things like, "Oh, have fun." Uh, just wave the hand. Just wave the hand at them. Don't say anything like, "Oh, where you think you're going? You're housebound." And if you want to help that person by going with them, just say, "Oh, I'm going for a walk too. Do you mind if I join you?" If that person smiles and say, "Yeah, that's good. You want to go, but keep in mind, don't talk about your, don't talk about the panic attacks. You know, don't talk about panic attacks. Don't talk about anxiety to that person. That person wants to go for a walk. Treat it like that person wants to go for a walk. It's like, you don't want to feed more anxiety to a person that's already having anxiety. Change the change that person's thinking by talking about other things, like if that person likes sports, talk about sports. If that person see a car and say, "Oh, that's a nice car," talk about that car. Things like that. Change the person's thinking habit by talking about other things. Don't talk about anxiety. You know. And if you're not going with that person because that person wants to go alone, if he or she or they only left the house for 5 minutes and come back home, don't say things like, "Oh, how come you were only gone for 5 minutes, not 10 minutes? How many blocks do you go?" You know, by saying things like that, you're just saying negative thoughts. You're giving them negativity, because walking 5 minutes for a person that's housebound is not the easiest thing. Because I experienced that myself when I couldn't get the mail for months and months. I didn't understand why I couldn't get it, and one day I went to get the mail, and then my my mom was like, "Oh, the mail's here," and then I said, "Oh, let me get it," and I went out and get it and brought it to her, and then she said thank you, and that's it. You know, you have to treat the person that has a panic disorder like they don't have it. Let them forget about it, because sometimes when you're talking about your panic disorder, your mind is just always going to be focused on it. So